as we return to making content for the channel here, we're going to be going over some of the videos that we've had for some time, like Two Gardens and a Snake and Who is Yahweh, and making those a lot better. When you're in the infancy of trying to work things out and trying to explain them, you're not in a very good position because you yourself don't understand things all that well as you're kind of stumbling through everything. And as more time passes and I study more and I learn more and I explain it with people in person more, you just become more adept at being able to explain things. So getting the message, like the big picture message, across is not an easy thing to do. It's a rather complicated story. There's a lot going on. And one thing that really stands in the way of explaining the story is the Christian narrative and a lot of the add-ons and additions that it has provided over the last 2,000 years to try to make sense of a story that the Christian narrative simply doesn't provide the real context for. So what you're looking at here on the screen is a really condensed summary of what might be going on as best as we can tell. And so let's go over this now. And this will kind of be a bit of an intro back to making videos and diving into the content. So I can't wait to see your comments below. Now, for some reason, there we go. It wasn't letting me zoom for a moment. All right, so let's start off with the Divine Council, the Elohim. They created humankind. Then one of the Divine Council members, Yahweh, takes over and sets himself up as God, takes the humans captive, and threatens them with death. We're talking about in the garden, right? Another Divine Council member, Yeshua, Jesus, opens the eyes of the humans to what's going on by getting them to eat a special fruit. The very fruit they were told not to eat by Yahweh, and that was where the death threat came from. Some of these things a Christian won't even entertain, which is a shame. You've got, according to the Christian story, Yahweh being the creator of these human beings, and the first thing he does is make a death threat towards them. Touch this and you'll die. We continue, though. We don't want to get, we could be here all day breaking this down into finer detail. Let's just try to stick to a broad overview here. As a result, Yahweh ends up cursing the humans, murdering them by cutting them off from the fruit that provided immortality and fracturing their relationship with Yeshua, Jesus. Later, Yahweh removes a group of people from Egypt and demands they worship him or die. He murders millions of them and sends them to war against other people to murder them. And some of those accounts are rather horrific. At some point, a contract for humanity is created. And this is one of the things that Christianity omits. You'll never hear anyone in Christianity talking about the contract for humanity. And some of you are probably listening going, what contract for humanity? What are you talking about? We are not privy to the full terms of this contract, but we find it in Revelation as the instrument with 7 seals, the scroll, that is 7 signatures, that sets humanity free. The contract can only be executed by a man that lived his entire life perfect under Yahweh's law as set forth in Torah. It appears the contract states that if a single man could die perfect under Yahweh's law, all humans could go free. Yeshua, Jesus, and his Father, that is God, organize a rescue mission to free humans from Yahweh's bondage, curse, death, and separation from Yeshua, Jesus. they send prophets to try and get the message of the kingdom and a coming rescue mission out to those in Yahweh's captivity. Yahweh sends lying spirits to the prophets and has them murdered by his most zealous followers. Yeshua, Jesus, comes into the world as a human. He tells us new and good news about he and his Father's kingdom and says they are working together. He explains that he will need to leave and then return with the military of the kingdom to overthrow the planet and restore peace to humanity. He explains that we will eventually leave this planet for another, which is heaven. He dies a perfect man under Yahweh's law. The contract, this is after he comes and he dies, the contract for humanity is presented before the divine council. This is what you can read in Revelation 5 and onwards. With agreement that the contract has been fulfilled, the seals of the signatories are broken so the contract can be executed. This results in the kingdom going to war against their own kind, who refuse to let us go free. Yeshua, Jesus, and his Father's kingdom win the war, and we are all set free and are restored to the garden and its special fruit once again. The curse, death, and separation from Yeshua, Jesus, is reversed. Now, this obviously sounds different to the Christian story. What it does, though, is provides an explanation that is actually significantly simpler, makes a lot more sense, doesn't require these introduced doctrines such as the Trinity, the almost complete non-existence of the adversary in the biblical text, which is kind of strange if the story is this massive battle between Yeshua and his Father and us and this individual known as the adversary, Satan. And yet he's hardly ever mentioned in the biblical text, just in a few occasions. Certainly doesn't occupy all this space in the text that you would expect. And of course, when did Yahweh ever talk about this adversary? So it can be uncomfortable to suddenly realize that the very adversary that we're dealing with, that the kingdom is going to war against, is Yahweh himself. But that certainly appears to be the case. Just wanted to share this with you today. I'm working on a larger presentation. In fact, this is part of a larger presentation, which I can just kind of show you here, called The Gospel of the Kingdom. And we'll be presenting this here on Facebook live stream every Sunday. And I'm going to continue to add to this, I guess, pretty much forever. And we're going to keep presenting this live every Sunday evening. For me, it's absolutely vital that people hear the good news, that people come to learn about Yeshua, Jesus, and his Father and their kingdom and their plan for the human race. So it's good to be back. I've rebuilt my studio, and we should now be producing a lot more content, and so get ready for that. We'll just do it drips and drabs for now, and we'll just see how we go, and try to get it up there to several new videos per week, and I'll keep them a lot shorter than I was last time. I know it's hard to get through a 3-hour video. Some of them have to be 3 hours long. Others can be a little bit shorter like this one. So thank you for joining me, and I will see you again really soon. I'm Israel Anderson with Anderson Discoveries. Have a great night. Bye-bye.